So, what is it that happened to your nervous system in your survival based childhood with exceedingly dysfunctional dynamics? It got fried. It learned to minimize, normalize, and even water down red flags, exceedingly fucked up dynamics, right? Your intuition that in a healthy childhood would be able to communicate to you that something is not right basically got slapped into numbness, right? The wildest thing, well, at least one of the wildest things on my journey of healing has been readjusting and reattuning my nervous system to recognizing potential threats and red flags, right? In fact, the fascinating thing, something that I've been told by somebody, won't say any names or anything, um, is that based on what was learned, right, putting the dial up to like way into red territory, like total red alert, red alarm, red flag territory, right? Dialing up to 10 is what's necessary in terms of understanding how actually severe any given situation is. For people that are raised in survival with dysfunctional dynamics, they learn that what is completely unhealthy is actually totally normal. And the fascinating thing is that I was listening to somebody else, again, no names, I was listening to somebody else talk about uh, beating children, right? Something that I've always believed is a red flag: physical abuse. That's child abuse, right? A lot of these things got watered down for people in their survival based childhoods with exceedingly fucked up and dysfunctional dynamics, right? For anybody that was raised in survival in childhood, they learned that a lot of things that are actually not normal or healthy are actually just okay, and that's just the way that things are, and that's just the way that parents are, and that's just the way that children are to be raised. I'm going to make it very clear right now that it's not fucking normal, nor is it fucking healthy, nor is it okay, nor is it acceptable. A lot of people learned to completely dismiss red flags because they were raised in survival based dynamics in childhoods where everything was watered down. They saw absolutely terrible shit happen before their eyes, whether it was verbal abuse, physical abuse, whatever the hell it was. And then they just learned those dynamics, right? I mean, that's the way that it is. That's the way that intergenerational trauma works, is that we watch these fucked up things happen in our families, maybe even between our parents, right? And then we just go and do the same thing later on in adulthood, right? We don't ever, I mean, not all of us, some of us, do the work to actually, change the route up and everything. But the main theme of this is talking about the readjusting a fried nervous system that has been so familiarized with chaos, with dysfunctionality, with red flags, and to see it for what it actually is, right? When you start to feel dysregulated, there's a fucking issue, period. And the wildest thing is that there are a lot of people out there that feel dysregulated. I've been here, by the way, that feel dysregulated because there is a clear fucking threat. There is a clear fucking red flag in the environment. Nobody's good or bad or right or wrong for doing this. This is only defense mechanisms, coping mechanisms that they learned to cope, right? But oftentimes, for a lot of people, when they feel dysregulation set in because there's a clear threat in the environment, there's a clear red flag present, they numb it out in some way, shape, or form, whether through entertainment, media, food, whatever it is, right? Um, the reality of the matter is that through the process of healing, right? When you stop attuning your nervous system to dysregulated and unhealthy nervous systems, you go through a process of resetting, right? you might actually have wild awakenings where you start to realize everything and be like, oh wow, these people are really fucked up. Again, not good or bad or right or wrong, right? Nobody comes out of childhood without trauma. That's just the way that it is, right? But it's a very real thing that many people have learned to normalize, accept, and even water down clear threats of red flags, right? So, the first thing that I want to say here, I'll do this for the other half of this video, just to explore resetting, reattuning your nervous system and everything, right? Um, Listening to your body is the most important thing that you can do, right? When you get that spidey sense come in, when you think that there is a threat, it doesn't matter what anybody else is telling you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if anybody else is trying to brush it under the carpet or throw it under the bus or, whatever the hell the saying is, right? It does not matter what anybody else says, especially if it's in opposition to what it is that you're feeling. If they're agreeing with you, then it's even more reason to understand that there's something clearly going on there, right? But the reality of the matter is that when you have been numbed to red flags and clear threats, right? When you eject yourself from those situations and you reset yourself and you start to tune into yourself, you start to tune into your nervous system, you start to tune into meditation, you start to tune into breathing, right? Dysregulation will make itself clear to you when you enter environments where there are actual red flags and threats. That's just the reality of it, right? Learning to listen to your spidey sense. I like to use that word because it's just playful as a metaphor, right? Spider-Man, he would have those senses that something was wrong in the environment, that something was not right, that there was a clear threat, a critical issue, right? You will learn to undilute the entire dynamic. You will learn to tune yourself to your nervous system and not worry about everyone. Like, I'm not trying to say that whatever anybody else is experiencing here is not real or untrue, but the most important thing that you can do is listen to yourself, right? When previously you used whatever defense mechanism to numb out whatever it was that you were feeling because that's what you learned. And yes, it is an unhealthy way of going about things, especially when there is a clear threat that is signaling you to get the fuck out, right? Being in tune with that, allowing that to be a, back and forth monologue of, hey, listen, there's a clear threat in the environment. You need to get the fuck out of here, period, because it could result in something very serious, right? And there are multiple instances out there in the world of stories that have happened where people have ignored red flags and serious issues. That's just the way that it is, right? So learning to readjust yourself to baseline, because if you are consistently dysregulated, you might let red flags go right the fuck over your head, right? That's just the reality of it, right? You might ignore signs. I've had experience with this in my life. My nervous system is resetting and it is attuning to baseline healthy dynamics. I am more now than ever able to recognize when something is fucked up. And by the way, also learning to dial it up to 10 times rather than just being like, yeah, there's something not right about that. No, there's something clearly fucking wrong with that, period. It's not that there's just something not right with it. There's a clear fucking threat, period. And the other thing that's important to communicate as well is that making sure that you are safe is of utmost importance, right? If you need to get, you know, law enforcement by your side on the ground, just I'm not suggesting anything. What I'm saying is that you making sure that you are safe. And I understand that this is exceedingly challenging for so many people, and it does hurt me because I understand that a lot of people are in exceedingly fucked up situations, right? But one of the most important things that you can do for yourself on your journey of healing is resetting your nervous system, attuning it to yourself, attuning your own sense of safety, right? Because whatever it is that you're feeling is fucking real. If you're feeling there's a threat in the environment, it's fucking real, especially if you're coming out of an era of numbness, of learning to push down your nervous system and even punch it in the face to get it out of the way because you're trying to just go through and push through whatever it is that's happening, right? So many people learned to dismiss red flags in survival based childhoods of exceedingly fucked up dysfunctionality, right? And you can reset that whole thing and actually see red flags for what they are, actually see behaviors that could lead you into positions of unsafety where your well being could be jeopardized. It's real. Having a diluted nervous system that sees everything as fucked up, because not everything's fucked up, right? But having a diluted nervous system that normalizes all of this fucked up behavior, that is a liability, right? It's not just a liability, it's a, I want to use the word fallacy. It's just not an accurate way of feeling. It's not helpful, it's not beneficial. Having a clear threat in the environment and your nervous system being like not beneficial, right? I might make another video on this just because I think that it's important to understand all the dynamics of what all of this stuff means. But this is the reality. This is the reality. People that were raised in survival based childhoods, everyone is different. Nobody comes out of childhood without trauma, but nobody's trauma is, I don't like to compare trauma. It's like, why? Like, it's not the matter of it. It's the matter that you learned to normalize red flags, and here we are with all of these dysfunctional dynamics where we kind of just shrug off shit, right? Not helpful, not healthy, not beneficial. Absolutely unacceptable to normalize, even though it pretty much has been normalized, right? Um, Disengaging and going back into yourself, no matter how badly your defense mechanisms make you want to attack, right? Bring yourself back to safety. Be present with yourself. Be present with what you're feeling, right? Attune yourself within. That's it.